Welcome to the Veranda. Thanks for coming. Today, my guest is Ernie Robinson, Memphis businessman, family man, father, brother, friend, and a concerned citizen of Memphis, Tennessee, and Shelby County.
Thanks, Angela. It's certainly a pleasure to be here with you. I have waited for this opportunity for far too long to get and sit on the veranda. So I am more than happy to be here with you. As you said, I am a candidate for Shelby County Mayor, and which starts early voting on July 15th of this year, with the actual general election voting on August 4th of this year. In the way of introduction, I am a long-term Memphian. I wasn't born here, but I was born down in Mississippi. But my family moved here at a very early age, and I'll talk about that at some point, the impetus behind moving us here. But I am a long-term Memphian, like I said. I went to Memphis City schools my entire scholastic life.
Graduated from?
Booker T. Washington High School.
Okay.
After I finished there, I went to Rhodes College, where I was an economics major, where I met my wife. Okay. So that was probably another really good thing about Memphis, is that I met my wife at college. I'm a father of two children. Both of my children started in Memphis City schools, and eventually we moved around. Because I finished college, I started working for FedEx, and first Roadway Express, and then subsequently FedEx. And so we moved around quite a bit, but their early childhood education was done in the Memphis City schools. It was a great education for them. Okay. Both of my kids are married. One lives in North Carolina, my daughter, who is an epidemiologist at Duke University right now.
Okay.
And my son is an engineer with the Carrier Corporation out in Collierville.
You did a good job.
We did okay. And it all goes back to education, because that was something that my parents instilled in me, and I certainly instilled in my children.
Okay.
And the same is being instilled in my 4 grandchildren, who live in North Carolina and Mississippi respectively. I am running for county mayor because, and many people have heard me say it, because I love Memphis. Because Memphis has been very good to me.
Okay, when you say Memphis has been good to you, what, from a business perspective, what type of businesses are you involved in Memphis?
After I retired in 2014 from FedEx, I started a business consulting firm. Now, my experience in FedEx was that I managed all the over-the-road truckers. So my business naturally aligned with that. Primarily, my business has to do with small business owners, small trucking companies, teaching them how to optimize their services and optimize their business so that they too can be successful. I'm very proud of the success that I have had with my clients. I actually have clients all over the country now, although most of my clients, my original clients started in Memphis.
Okay.
So I'm very proud of that, and I continue to do that today. So that is what moves me. I am very much pro-business.
Okay.
I am not a politician. I am a citizen of Memphis, and my concern is for the well-being of this city, which I owe so much to. This city changed the arc of my family.
So let me ask you this. Now, I do know you're not a politician, and up to this point, you had no political aspirations.
None.
But you see the need.
Yes.
Now, you see what needs to be done to prepare for the future. Am I correct in assuming that?
That is exactly. That leads me to one of my favorite quotes. It comes from Malcolm X. And Malcolm X famously said that education is the passport to the future. Those who prepare for it now will own it in the future. And that is the essence of my beliefs. Education is at the core of everything that moves me to run for mayor because I think education is the panacea. It is the single solution to all the problems that Memphis has right now.
Now, I look at what the state of I look at the political atmosphere that we have now in Memphis. And as I've said before, it's somewhat disheartening because you have so many candidates that are looking for a job as opposed to a mission, if that's the right word.
It is indeed.
Because when you become involved in something that you're passionate about, or that you want to see a change brought about, or you see a need that you can address, a lot of politicians now disregard that. You and I have talked several times about what your visions are. And one of your key visions, as you said earlier, has been education. And that starts with teaching and learning and understanding and implementing. And currently, that's not something that's happening. How would an Ernie Robinson administration look moving forward?
But the thing is, when I say education, let me go back just a tad. If I think we all realize this one thing, over the last 40 years, Memphis has been on a constant decline. And in that 40-year period, we have had mayors and councilmen and commissioners and even people who are filling other positions throughout. Every one of them, without exception, has made promises about doing something to change the arc of the city, particularly for our black residents who are our weakest link. Everybody can admit that. It has not happened in 40 years. So I understand, and I think everybody should understand, that the same is going to continue this time with the candidates that we have now. They're going to make great promises. Everybody knows what our problems are. Our problems are pervasive poverty. Our problems are pervasive crime. Our problems are a city that's fallen in national reputation. And all of them will purport to say that we must do something. Well, the thing that I would ask, particularly if you're an incumbent, don't tell me what you're going to do. Tell me what you have done.
I agree.
And for somebody who would be mayor, my question to them is, give me some specifics about what you will do to solve these problems. And I think they all will agree the problems I've outlined are the problems of the city. Everybody agrees. Nobody disagrees that our problems are crime, pervasive, and as well as rampant poverty, where a large swath of the city of Memphis don't get to share in what Memphis has to offer.
Or the choices that are made for Memphis.
Or the choices that are made for Memphis.
Now, I do see that you decided you're not affiliated with any political party.
I am not.
And this is my show, so I can say what I want to say. I think that I'm trying to choose my words carefully because I don't want to go off the rails here. But I think that you have a Democratic Party and a Republican Party. I have friends on both sides. And I think when you put that label in front of what your mission is, it changes your opportunity to ensure people that would really support you.
Correct.
And independently, you free willing. You can go like you want. But currently in Memphis, we have so many politicians that are just caught up. And no progress is being made. So I have issues with that. And I have people on the veranda that pique my interest or that I feel have something to say. So that's why you were invited today.
Okay.
What do you think? How would you characterize your ideas as far as in comparison to other candidates that are running?
Talk about the fact that I'm as an independent. And what is an independent? An independent is one who is able to make up his mind for whatever reason he wants to about what he wants to project, good, bad, or indifferent.
Okay.
I don't. I'm not so much as when I say an independent, I mean I have anything against the Democrats. I have
Okay.
anything against the Republicans. My thing is I don't subscribe to entirely to the ideology of either party.
Correct.
Because unfortunately, if you're engaged in Democratic politics or Republican politics, you have no choice but to toe the party line.
To toe the party line. Correct.
I toe no party line. There's Democrats with great ideas that I like. There's Democrats with, and I'm watch my language here, bad ideas that I don't like.
And see, that's the difference between you. I say, I'm like,
And also, there are Republicans with good ideas and bad ideas. Like Republicans are subscribed to my idea of being pro-business. I'm very much pro-business, and I'll talk about that as this progresses, if allowed to. But I pick and choose what parts of either party ideology that I think is good for the city of Memphis. All of the city of Memphis, not some of them, all of them. And that's what I choose. And I will call out any one of them if they're not. Now, most candidates toe that party line because that's where their money comes from. I don't want any of their money.
that was going to be my next question.
I am not accepting any campaign donations because I will not be beholden to anybody who, whether they give me $10 or $10,000. Because with that money comes expectations that you will follow their line and do things to support them. I'm not going to support anybody based on how much money they have.
And that's something that's sad, but that's politics. I've got to revert back to something my father taught me a long time ago. I've read The Art of War, by Sun Tzu. Read that. And it applies in certain situations. My father also taught me how to play chess. He said, if you learn how to play chess, you can deal with any situation that life has to offer because you are always anticipating the next move that your opponent or anyone else would make based on what you do. So, what do you think by not enlisting the support of either party, honestly, how do you feel? And that's one reason I want to get your message across. How do you feel that will hinder or better you in this race?
Well, there's no doubt that there'll be a hindrance because you know why? Because those parties have money behind them, and money gives them a voice. It gives them TV ads. It gives them poll workers. It gives them people who will go out and endorse them, oftentimes for money.
Yeah, and then you owe them a favor.
And then you owe them a favor. So that's the hindrance. The benefit is that I am free. I'm the only free candidate. Now, I'm not running against the other two candidates in the race. I'm running for the people of Memphis.
I like that.
And the people of Memphis, if they really thought about it, you think about it, all during the time of the last 4 years, you haven't heard anything about what they are doing. There have been no meetings or open discussions about in year 1 or year 2 or year 3 or year 4 of any of these candidates' position. We have not had that. And they think that we just wait till like 2 months before the election, then I make you promises.
That's what bothers me about politics. Conversations on the veranda, not only do I talk to politicians or non-politicians, I talk to average people. I've got, after this election, and this is just a plug side note, after the election process is over, I've got people from all walks of life that will be coming sharing their stories on the veranda. Now, what I see is when people get into a political race, you've got all these things that are expected to be done. And what I mean by things is you got to get on a ballot, not you've got to have fundraisers. Yeah, if you want to raise some money, but very few actually get out there to the people, to constant contact, one-on-one contact with the people. And that's something I push with all my candidates. Get out there and talk to the people. Sure. Meet the people, shake hands, knock on doors, talk to people. Because everybody's not going to look at TV.
Right.
Everybody's not going to listen to the radio. Everybody's not going to go to a high-dollar fundraiser.
Right.
Everybody's not going to come to this event and that event to hear everybody talk about what they say they're going to do and don't do.
Right.
So when you have the opportunity when I have the opportunity to share people that I think are passionate and have the citizens of Memphis at heart, that's what my platform here on the veranda is. What do you think? A lot of your plans involve things outside of the mayor's office. How do you plan to get them done universally?
And that's a good question. That's one of the things that immediately occurred to me, because we have what I call an outdated two-government structure in Memphis, with a county government and a city government that are expected to provide services for everybody in the entire county, which includes every city in the county. And to my knowledge, I don't ever recall the two collaborating.
Never.
They're all in their little fiefdoms, and they're only worried about two things. Paramount is re-election. That's all they care about. Re-election and raising funds. And a lot of people want it for the power or the prestige or the monies that become available to them
because of this.
Because of this. And that's where they rest. Now, I believe that the messages I'm giving about education being the panacea to all our problems. If you want to solve crime, educate. If you want to solve poverty, educate. If you want to fix our image in Memphis, educate. If you want to make Memphis great, educate. Education is the one thing. Now, when I talk about education, if I may, and correct, I don't want to get too far into the weeds, if you will. But I want to start with elementary education.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah.
You and I have had conversations about that.
The key to everything is that, now here's the thing. You don't realize the benefits from a start in education where you create a basic, good elementary education, K through 5.
I like that. I like when we discussed this a week or so ago. I like that idea. I'd never heard anything like that before. Now, I do want you to explain that.
Okay.
Where a child starts and goes through
Exactly.
the process.
Exactly.
Explain that.
First, let me preface that with every kid who goes to kindergarten, 5 years old, and every kid who goes to first grade, 6 years old, there's somebody there who loves them dearly. Their minds are open to whatever is there. They are fresh, and they are eager, and they look forward to going to school, and they want to. Somewhere between second grade and fifth grade, they lose it.
They lose it.
And there's a reason why they lose it, because they lose that connectivity. They lose that desire to love school. Now, my plan calls for a radical overhaul of the way we educate K through 5. We will have kids with a teacher in kindergarten or first grade. And that teacher will follow them year after year after year. They'll have the exact same teacher for 5 years. So it promotes continuity. It promotes familiarity. At the risk of overstepping, it gives them a quasi-parent that will shepherd them all the way through those very important years from K1 through K5.
I like that.
Now,
and the child becomes comfortable.
The child's become comfortable.
Complacent and willing to learn.
The child looks forward to going to school.
Yeah.
When a child looks forward to going to school, you can make them love reading. You can make them love writing. You can make them love speaking. You can make them love music. And don't discount the importance of music in a small child like that. Now, back to your question. How do I get that? The mayor doesn't run the Shelby County schools. The Shelby County schools run it. Everybody's got their own school system in the municipalities across the city. But I don't think any of them could argue with the importance of K1 through K5. I don't think anybody could argue with that, even though, and it's going to be difficult. I was talking to somebody today, and they said, Ernie, that's going to be difficult. I said, difficult requires persistence.
Yeah, because see, that would have to, a bridge would have to be built.
A bridge would have to be built.
You know, and that bridge you got Shelby County Schools that would meet on this part, and government would meet on this part.
Exactly.
And that would cause, I'm be honest, that would cause some bit of attention, because Shelby County gonna want to keep their school and their money and run things their way, and the government coming in. But there's nobody implementing anything that's solving the problem.
Right.
And what I really like that idea of a teacher following a student. I like that, and I think that's something that I had mentioned to one of my candidates who's on the school board. I mentioned that to her, and she thought that was a good idea.
And it is, because they lose. Take a kid who's in the first grade. He's with Miss Barksdale for the first grade. And then he goes to the second grade. He's got somebody he's got to adjust, and they have to adjust to the kid. They don't know if Miss Barksdale is with him in the second grade.
Got a baseline with that child.
You know him. He knows you. You know her. She knows you. So you hit the ground running rather than going through the first 6 weeks getting familiar. And he listens to you. A quasi-parent, so to speak, if you will. And I don't think anybody can credibly argue against the merits of that.
I like it.
So that's important. So, and with every other thing in the city, from crime with the police, the county mayor doesn't control the Memphis Police Department. The Memphis mayor controls the Memphis Police Department, or Collierville, or Germantown, or Lakeland, or any of the others. They all have their own. But I believe that those people want the same thing that the people in Memphis want. They want to make Memphis better, and collectively we can. I will spend the majority of my time as mayor collaborating with all the different entities in the entirety of Shelby County.
How will you go about setting up an administration, and who will you refer to for advice and guidance?
Well, think about it. I'm out here kind of like a lone wolf, so to speak. I'm a proud graduate of Booker T. Washington. Do you know how many Booker T. Washington alumni in this city? Many of them, in many different positions of power. And many different positions of authority. Many of them who I will call on as it goes. But more importantly, the city does not stop moving when a new administration comes in. There's a built-in structure in every department, be it in HR, be it in the legal group. I will marshal all of those people to see where they are, to see if their ideas are ideas that match with mine, and I will use those already in place resources to get a picture as to whether or not I can keep them so that they can go along with my ideas. I think most of those people want the same thing that I want. There are many people I will lean on. Some friends who have certain expertise. I will lean strongly on the business community, because the business community, if you ask anybody, any CEO or leader in the business community, what is the one thing that hinders them? An uneducated populace. If I can show them that down the road, not in 4 years, not in 8 years, but the next 10 to 12 years, on a long-range basis, that we're going to create an educationally sound population that will be ready for those jobs.
Okay.
I will lean heavily on them. I will radically change what is commonly known as the pilot program, which is payment in lieu of taxes. Right now, this is a program that exists to give tax abatement incentives to businesses who say they're going to come in, provide jobs, and we have been taken advantage of, quite frankly, in that program far too many times. My pilot centers around apprenticeship. Now, I address K through 5. What about after K through 5? K through 5 will set the foundation and create kids who enjoy school, who like school, who love reading, who love writing, who love speaking, and to want to progress educationally. I propose an apprenticeship program for kids in grade 9 through 12, very much based on the European style of apprenticeship, whereby kids in those grades, kids who are not on the high academic ladder, if you will, which is the majority of the kids, quite frankly. This thing about every kid, every day, college bound, believe me, that is a farce. Most of the kids are not prepared for that, unfortunately, and many of them, the ones who are on that academic track, they're going to be fine. I don't worry about them. No matter what school you go to, you're going to have a percentage of the kids who are on that academic track. They're going to be fine. They're going to go on to college. They're going to do great things. But I want to get those kids starting grades 9 and put them in those apprenticeship programs. This is how it's going to work. They will actually spend part of their school day actually working with different businesses in the city. And we will provide a pilot, payment in lieu of taxes, for them, to whereby I want to pay them. I want these 9th, 10th, 11th grade, 12th grade kids to be paid money for training and doing their job, and they can do that for 2 or 3 years. Now, what happens when we start to pay them? They don't have to get out in the street to find $5.
That's right.
They don't have to get out in the street to find $10. And if the city or the county needs to supplement that beyond taxes, then we supplement that. If we want to pay a kid $15 an hour for training for 3 years, we'll let the employer pay them, and then the city or the county will cover our part, and we will give them a tax abatement, a pilot, if you will, to give them the incentive to make sure you train those. Once they finish 12th grade, just like in European, the society and the apprenticeship program, they go to work. They got a job.
Okay. So, your key platform is education, pro-business, and connecting with the people of Memphis. Your mantra is, I love Memphis.
Okay.
Ernie Robinson, tell me one thing I don't know.
And that goes to that whole theme of I love Memphis, why I've adopted that, and it's just not something I adopted for this campaign. It's something I've always felt. Memphis educated me from Booker T. Washington to Rose College. And that changed my life. Background, my parents grew up as sharecroppers in Mississippi. I'm one generation removed from abject poverty, whereby they were working for virtually nothing. No difference, and I know a lot of people might not like this analogy, very little different than slaves. Douglas Blackman has a great book called Slavery by Another Name. Everybody should read that. Because once slavery ended, they said, well, we got to keep these people working for us for free. So then they set up laws. Just like slavery was a law, the black codes became laws, and then they became tenant farmers who continued to work for them for free. My family was in that all the way through Jim Crow. In 1956, my mother decided, and I use this analogy too, like Scarlett O'Hara, with God as my witness, my kids will not work in cotton fields. She virtually escaped the plantation, brought us to Memphis, and that changed the arc of my legacy. Now, we struggled a lot, but the one thing she did for us, even though she did not have an education, she insisted that we have an education. She provided reading material for us. She encouraged us to read. She encouraged us to learn. She was intimately involved in how well we was doing, even stuff she did not understand. But that changed the arc of my legacy. Now, my children, highly successful. My grandchildren will not be subject to generational poverty. They'll have generational wealth. my siblings, of which I have 8, all of them highly successful people who are all, like me, one generation removed from abject poverty. Now, how did that happen? It happened because my mom came to Memphis and changed our lives, and I owe Memphis. That's why I say I love Memphis.
So, moving forward, I want you to look in the camera, and I want you to tell the citizens of Memphis what you're running for and why you want their vote.
Well, I've articulated it quite a lot on different internet platforms, mainly Facebook, and many people have had an opportunity to see that. I want to be county mayor, not for the money, not for the power, not for the prestige, and not for the many other accoutrements that oftentimes go with that position of power. I want nothing from the city. I want to give to the city. And I think a lot of other people feel the same way. As a matter of fact, I've had many communications with many people who feel the same way. We want somebody who will have ideas, tangible ideas. Now, cannot expect that it's going to happen in 3 years or 4 years, but you must see some progress, not just for me, but for any candidate. Unless you see some progress being made toward their vision, toward their overall goal, then you have elected the wrong person. Elect me, and I will keep you up to date on a regular basis as to what we're doing, what we're not doing. I will seek you out to support me in things that it is difficult to support, such that we can actually start. Now, keep in mind, start a new Memphis where Memphis will be great.
Okay, my final question. I want you to explain exactly what a write-in candidate is.
Okay, what people have to understand, this is something that's available in any election. You can vote for anybody you want to, regardless of whether they align with the party or not. Now, in Tennessee, anybody who wants to be on the ballot as a write-in has to, or Shelby County, has to register. I am duly registered write-in candidate for Shelby County Mayor. And on the ballot for county mayor, you'll see 2 candidates, one Republican, one Democrat, and right below that, you will see a space to write in. It requires a black pen, and which will be available when you go to vote. You ask the attendants there for the black pen to do a write-in.
You physically write it in.
And you physically write in Ernie Robinson for Shelby County Mayor, starting with early voting on July 15th for 2 weeks, and then the actual general election on August 4th. Many people have said, people in Memphis don't understand that. You know what? Don't underestimate people in Memphis.
Well, I will say this, and that's another reason I do my show, is because a lot of people are not knowledgeable of the voting process.
Exactly.
And they go by a ballot that somebody go, oh, you got to push it. And that's the mentality that we have that we got to come out of. We have to become knowledgeable of who we're putting in office.
Yeah.
Not because that's JoJo's cousin or that's Miss So-and-so's person, or you've got to know who this person is you're putting in office. So I think that this show allows people the opportunity to gain and garner information they wouldn't get otherwise. This is not advertisement. This is knowledge. And, you know, you got other shows that do advertisement and good, make their money. But this is knowledge. This is knowledgeable to let you know who the people are. Today you've met Ernie Robinson, my friend. So, what I want you to do, watch this video, share this video, make your decision. Ernie, thank you for coming to the veranda. You're welcome back again. Peace out.
Thank you, Angela.